Hey friend, Roger Christofferson here again with another first listen review. This was a little bit of a weak week. It tends to happen that way when it gets towards the end of the year. But before I get babbling like I normally do, be sure you like, share, and subscribe to keep this music alive, because what we talk about on here is just music that we love, share stories, stuff like that. If that's your type of thing, then this is a place for you. If it's not, then thanks for checking it out anyway, but you might be disappointed because that's what we do here. So anyway, what we're talking about today is Slash. Now, I reviewed his last studio album, which was a blues album. It was on Gibson Records, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And it was called Orgy of the Damned, which is a bunch of blues songs. I think it was kind of promoting his latest line of guitars or something. I actually really don't remember. Somebody might remember what that was all about. Feel free to comment down below, but it's been a little bit since I reviewed that, and quite honestly, there's only a couple songs on that I've gone back to, not because I didn't like them, it's just that's the way it goes sometimes. There's a lot of music out there that I like to check out. So when I saw this was coming out, I didn't realize it was going to be all blues again, but I'm not disappointed in that by any means. I just didn't know. So I grabbed it, and it's a double disc as well, which I also didn't realize as I was going to get it, but not disappointed. The more music for me, the merrier. That's just kind of the way it goes. But it is called Live at the SERPENT Festival, and the SERPENT's, just the letters, it stands for something that I don't remember. So whoever remembers what that is, feel free to comment on that as well. I looked it up, and I honestly can't remember. I guess it doesn't matter, but it's a festival where they celebrate the blues and stuff like that. And on this outing, he didn't use like the same band as what he did in the studio. Some of the same people, obviously, but he used a ton of different people in the studio on that studio album. But in this one, it's one band. It's got Tash Neal on vocals and guitar, Michael Jerome on drums, Johnny Graperic on bass, I don't know if I'm saying this right, and Teddy Zigzag Andreas on keys, who been involved in a lot of stuff with him. And of course it has him playing guitar. But anyway, as far as I've always considered Slash, he's always had that blues feel to his playing, so it's no surprise that he's done this. I know some people didn't care for that blues album. Some people loved it. There's some of the stuff on that album I thought was like great. Like Papa Was a Rolling Stone I thought was just a great version of that song. And there's just some other ones on there that I really thought, but that one's just like one of the ones I went back to and listened to over and over, just because the way somehow he just captured a cool groove on that song. And that song is actually on here, completely different version. Now, Tash on vocals has a very deep, full, raspy type sounding voice. For me, it worked most of the time. Actually, the name of this band he put together is called the Blues Ball Band, which I thought was kind of funny. But yeah, he did a lot of the songs from that album as well, but he actually did some extra songs that were not included on that album. But it starts out with Parchment Farm Blues. It quite honestly, when it first kicked in, it sounded great. The recording it sounds fabulous. I mean, the recording itself is very good. However, the vocals, I was like, well, it's different. And I honestly didn't care for him that much, if I'm being completely honest. Didn't care for the vocals. I was like, ooh, that was a little rough. But Slash's guitar playing is top notch. It's like he's got this like style of playing. I remember when he first came back out, I had a guitar teacher who just kept going, oh, he just plays a bunch of pentatonic and stuff. I'm like, yeah, but he does it so well. He just has such feeling, and he just has a unique sound of his own. So yeah, he may be playing a scale that, this is back in '87 or whatever it was, I believe. And but he does it differently. So I don't know how to word it, but he's gone well above and beyond that in the many years that he's been doing this. And so when on this first song, when he starts playing, it's like, yep, that's Slash, and you just instantly know who it is. And that's, as a guitar player, that's what you want. You want somebody to hear just play one note and they know who it's you. When you hear Slash play, you just know it's him. So mission accomplished on that one. And then actually, as the album went on, and there's different. Not every blues song is the same. I mean, people that don't listen to the blues and they think, no, I don't like the blues. Well, the blues are not all the same. It's not like every country song is the same. Every metal song is not the same. There's different flavors and whatnot. So songs on here are very varied. They're not all the same. So he goes into Killing For, which is an older blues song. These are rocked up versions of the song, obviously. That's when the vocals actually settled in a little bit better for me, and continued for the next several songs actually, because he fit that better than for whatever reason that first song just didn't click for me. But Born Under a Bad Sign was just next on here and also did. I was actually happy to hear the Fleetwood Mac song Oh Well on here, which is track number 5. Actually, they count the intro as a track, but it's actually the 4th song on here is Oh Well, and that was a fun version. I've heard that song done by lots of different bands, and I thought his version of it and his way of playing lead on that song actually fit like really, really well. So, and then comes another song on here that was not on the Orgy of the Damned album, I don't believe it was, Big-Legged Woman, which this is a song I'm not familiar with, but that was a fun song to listen to, and also fit very well. Key to the Highway was all right. Probably not the best song on the album, but it wasn't the worst either. It was right there, and it's kind of like the Parchment Farm Blues field for me. Kind of, this is you learn to love his voice, or you hate it. I was learning to love it at this point, so it didn't bother me quite as much. And then the song I had previously mentioned with Papa Was Rolling Stone, this version of it just seemed like even more rocked up, had a cool groove going on, and the soul in this just went on for like ever. It was cool. And then that's everything on CD1, and that was quite a bit there, because the songs they're a little bit longer than they are on the studio version. He takes lots of opportunity to show off his skills on a lot of these songs. They extended them a little bit, especially Papa Was Rolling Stone. But CD2 starts out with a little bit slower, bluesier song, Stormy Monday, which I'm not familiar with, but it was definitely, his singing on this one fit a lot better, I think, on the slower stuff than, I don't keep talking about singing a lot, because like I said, you either love it or hate it. There's a couple times in here where it was a little bit yikes, but that one was pretty good. I like that one. The song The Pusher, this is one of those songs where you either love it or hate it. It's one of those songs I've never been a fan of. Unfortunately, just for me, it's not something I want to hear repeated over and over and over again. So I listened through it. I'll probably never go back to listening to that one. Unfortunately, it's just the content of that song is just something I just don't want to listen to. So it was fine, but I'm not going to go back and listen to that one. That's all I got to say about that one. But Metal Chestnut on this version, the instrumental from the Orgy of the Damned CD, was great. He somehow he even managed to catch like the feeling and the essence of that song even more live. And playing in live bands, that happens sometimes. I wish it happened more for me, but it doesn't. But let me tell you when it does, and you get that. You can't put your finger on what it is. Some nights you just catch what that is. I think he caught that, whatever that essence is on this performance on this night, and that song that really shone through. And then we get a version of Crossroads after that, which is a song I've also heard 100 times, but he does a pretty good version of it on here. I actually enjoyed that. Now, probably my second favorite one on the whole album is track number 13. It's Stone Free. It's weird because, it's almost heresy to say this, but I'm not a huge Jimi Hendrix fan, but for some reason that song I actually really, really like. This version of it was great. They super extend. I think it's like 11 minutes long on here. It doesn't seem like it's 11 minutes long. That's what makes it great. Because even when it's over, you're like, man, that's just the one I want to hear again. So that's tough for me anyway. That's tough for an artist to do. It Takes a Lot to Laugh and A Train to Cry was also another decent one. And then it ends with Shake Your Money Maker, which I don't think was on the Orgy of the Damned album. It's also, I've heard that song done several times. but this version of it just he had as a way of making it his own. So I guess I've said that several times in here, so if you're doing the drinking game where I've said that, you probably have a few shots in at this point, but he really did. He took a lot of these, everything actually, and does make it sound his own. He just has that gift that he has when he touches his fingers to the strings, you know it's him. So if you're into the blues, you're into Slash, and I don't want to keep this going too much longer, but you're gonna want this album in your collection. If you're even just the slightest little bit of a Slash fan, you like his guitar playing, he's all over this album. You're gonna want it. There's also a DVD, Blu-ray version of this with the full concert film and everything, documentary and everything. I didn't get all that. I just got the CDs, but I can't sit down and watch TV for that long, so I just unfortunately did not watch that. However, I did really enjoy this. This is probably one that I've actually already listened to it through a couple times, so there's a good chance I'll be listening through it for quite a while. There wasn't a whole lot that came out this week, so lucky for Slash, I'll probably be listening to this one quite a few times. So until his next endeavor, I'm going to be enjoying this one, and until then, we will see you.